Okay. I think this is working. Listen. There's some music here. Wait. Yeah. All right. Let's go. Inside Boxing. We're really live. Inside Boxing really live. Coming to you from undisclosed location. I'm 100% not in my apartment right now in New York City. Undisclosed location. Ready to talk some boxing. Talk some boxeo. I'm going to start doing this a lot more, going live for pre-fight, going live post-fight. I'm going to try to go live after tonight's fights. And, man, we got some big fights tonight. It's one of those days where, as a boxing fan and someone in the media, you get to see how excited all the fight fans are. You know, this Berchelt fight is in Valdez. Everyone's in lockstep. And it takes a lot for boxing fans to get on board with one thing. I mean, we can rip into the Bridgerweights, we can rip into the WBC, WBA, all the commissioning bodies, bad judging. It's another thing boxing fans love to rip into, come together. But when a big fight comes along and the right fight comes along, that's something I have been saying all week long. Boxing fans can get excited, and just seeing on my Twitter, fight fans being excited for Berchelt-Valdez, fight fans being excited for the comeback of Adrian Broner, which we'll get into. Otto Valene versus Dominic Brazile is a fun fight. You got Ryan Martin going up against Robert Easter. Elvis Rodriguez over on the ESPN undercard. Love that. And what I really like, what ESPN has done a phenomenal job of promoting this fight between Berchelt and Valdez. Hats off to everyone at Top Rank. Hats off to everyone at ESPN. Has a big fight feel. It's everywhere. They've killed it on social. The Twitter is off the chain. I'm not just saying that because they made this really cool Monday Night Football animation with our CompuBox stats. But go to the Top Rank YouTube page has a ton of content. They're really doing a good job. And another thing they're doing a great job with is the fact that this fight tonight, even if you don't have ESPN, you can watch it on ESPN Plus. They don't always allow that. They did it for Teofimo and Lomachenko. So I expect this fight to do big business. I expect it to be a outstanding fight inside of the ring. Two Mexican warriors going at it. A fight that I put out a video, a fight that is marinated to perfection. Another thing boxing fans can rail against is marinating fights. Bob Arum has famously coined the phrase of marinating. Look what he did with Juan Ma and Juan Diaz. But this is a fight it's marinated perfectly. Berchelt is peaking right now. Miguel Berchelt, you're not going to find a more accurate puncher in all of boxing. He ranks number one in terms of overall connect percentage, 38.9%. He's only 0.1% behind Terrence Crawford as power punch connect percentage. And he lands 31.5 punches per round. Like that right there, all those numbers that I just threw at you are all reasons why Berchelt is one of the best offensive fighters in the game. And he's slowly been building that up. He had that one loss. He was knocked out. And you have to go back for a while to see when he had that first loss. But, he's been building up. He's been building up knockouts. He's been building up this aura of invincibility. And Oscar Valdez has wanted Berchelt for a long time. He's got the WBC strap. That green belt means a lot to the Mexican fighters, means a lot to boxing fans in general. But Berchelt is peaking right now. There's no doubt about that. The reason I think it's another perfect reason for it being marinated is because Oscar Valdez, I think, is in a good spot right now. It's his fifth fight with Eddie Reynoso. Mixed results in terms of style-wise. It's not like you're getting a fighter who's coming off his maybe first or second fight with a new trainer where they're kind of caught in between. I think Valdez has kind of adapted now with what Reynoso wants, more of a defensive-minded guy. And I threw a lot of numbers at you, and here's another one for Oscar Valdez. Only getting hit with 21% of power shots, his opponent's power shots. That's a good number. One thing about Berchelt, he gets hit a lot too. Berchelt is up there, man. 38, 39% he's getting hit with. So it's not Berchelt's defense is not so great. Valdez does a lot of things good, not one thing great from Oscar Valdez. Very sound fighter, he's got a lot of tools. He's got a good jab. He's accurate. He's got power shots. Got a great chin, as we saw. He goes down, but he gets right back up. He'll be in a war. He'll get into a war every now and then. That's the question for this fight with Berchelt and Valdez is when does it go from Valdez trying to slow it down and trying to keep it at his pace to saying, you know what, I'm going to have to go at this guy. I'm going to have to let's turn this into a brawl. And I had Tim Bradley on the show this week, and he said 1 minute into the fight. 1 minute into the fight is when you will catch a brawl. I don't know if it's going to be 1 minute. I think Valdez is going to want to try to control the fight and kind of move around in there. And I think he'll do that for a few rounds before things get a little hairy in there. And eventually Berchelt will find Valdez. I think that's the common, what everyone is going with, right? Berchelt by a stoppage. I'm looking over at Bovada right now, and they have, what do we got here? Berchelt minus 340. That's according to Bovada LV. He's still the favorite. There's some late money coming in on Valdez. I mean, I would throw a couple of bucks on Valdez because I think a lot of people aren't really giving him a lot of credit here. They're really quick to have Berchelt, but this is easily Berchelt's toughest fight. You got to think Valdez has been in a little bit tougher than Berchelt, and got that lineage, or should I say, he's got that great trainer in Eddie Reynoso. I do also like, I'm taking a look at this, Berchelt to win in rounds 9 and 10 is plus 550. That's intriguing. That is very intriguing. Here we're coming to you on our pre-fight pre-show. We just saw on the heels of, we had this fight over on DAZN. David Azavizian picks up a huge knockout win. That was impressive. There was a lot of action over on the DAZN card. Josh Kelly goes down. A bloody fight. I think started off bloody from the start. That was a good one. There's a lot going on. A ton of boxing tonight. Haven't even gotten to the Showtime card. Also, we'll keep going with this ESPN card. Also on the undercard on ESPN is you're going to see Gabe Flores going up against Jason Velez. Gabe Flores, this was supposed to be Andrew Cancio versus Gabe Flores. So it's a little bit of a bummer, but Jason Velez is tough. He's durable. He's only been stopped once, and that was his last fight against Valdez. But for Gabe Flores now, he's 19-0. He's only got 6 KOs. 11 of his last 12 wins have come via decision for Gabe Flores. He's going to have a tough time stopping Jason Velez, but I fully expect Gabe Flores to look good in there. He's going to move in and out, and it's going to be a tough one. Velez, you take a look at Velez, has fought Valdez, like I just said. He's fought Ryan Garcia. He's fought Jojo Diaz. He's fought Alberto Machado, and he's never went down. Besides Valdez, very durable. Throws 67 punches around Velez. So he's going to bring the pressure. You're going to expect a lot of pressure from Velez, and you're going to see how Flores handles that. I do like the fact that they're using him on this stage to kind of elevate his profile. The Cancio fight would have been awesome, but unfortunately he had a back injury. There's no fighter more snake bitten than Andrew Cancio. Maybe Artur Beterbiev, maybe Jamel Herring in terms of just bad luck. What's going on with Frampton and that. Did you also see Eddie Hearn tweeted out? This came as somewhat of a surprise. The rematch between Dillian White and Povetkin is going to take place now on March 27th, moving it back a few weeks, and it's going to take place in Gibraltar. Yes, Gibraltar. The Rock of Gibraltar. They're calling it the Rumble on the Rock. I don't think it's going to actually be on the mountain. Maybe they're in the background. So I like it. Eddie Hearn, always pushing the envelope, always trying to do different things. I like it. I still think that it's interesting, and it's hard to figure out who's going to win that one. You take a look at Dillian White get knocked out cold, but before that, he had Povetkin down twice. So that was some news that came across right before that DAZN card or that Matchroom card went live. But we're sitting here and we're talking about the fights tonight. Miguel Berchelt, Oscar Valdez kicking things off, and I don't want to beat a dead horse when it comes to not having fans in attendance. It's something that everyone has been talking about. Man, this event would be so great if there were fans here. The World Series would have been so great. Oh, there was fans there, but just packed arenas, and it's really makes a difference in boxing. As you can see over my shoulder there on the TV, I have Marco Antonio Barrera versus Eric Morales. I've had it on a continuous loop for the last couple hours. And when I was watching it last night, and after the fight was over, the minute or the second the 12th bell rang, they panned to the crowd, and people were high-fiving. People were losing their minds because they were so entertained, and they saw a huge fight. That's going to be the case tonight, I think. But imagine if this fight was, in Southern California. Imagine it was at the StubHub Center or maybe the Staples Center. Like, oh my God, the Staples Center in Southern California between two Mexican warriors going at it. Man, we can dream. I think we're getting closer to having more fans in arenas becoming a regular thing. New York City is allowing 25% capacity or 10% capacity next Friday. My Knicks are playing the Warriors at the Garden next Friday, and there's going to be 2,000 fans in attendance. So slowly creeping back into fans. I think that's the only thing missing tonight in both cards, Showtime's and ESPN's, is the fact that there won't be fans there because fans are what make the sport. I think we figured that out over the last couple of months during pandemic. Berchelt-Valdez, Gabe Flores, Jason Velez is the two ESPN fights tonight at 10 o'clock on ESPN. Over on ESPN Plus on the undercard, you're also going to catch Elvis Rodriguez. Elvis is in the building. Probably the consensus prospect of the year and probably the best prospect in all of boxing right now. It's his fifth fight in the bubble. Love this kid. Talk to everyone around boxing. They have very high things and say great things about Elvis Rodriguez. Talk about a guy who's 11-0. None of his fights have gone the distance. He has 11 fights in only 29 rounds. He's trained by Freddie Roach, going up against Luis Alberto Verón, who is 1-2-2 in his last 5 fights. So I don't expect much resistance from Verón. I expect a squash match for Elvis, but slowly but surely, Elvis Rodriguez is getting more and more attention. He's getting into the minds of fight fans and the media alike, and I love this guy fighter. And I was pretty bummed to see him not make the card back in, I think, December, but he's now back, and I expect him to go 5 fights again here, maybe even more in 2021, getting him going started early here in February. Love it. Love that one. Okay, let's go over to Showtime. Of course, the return of AB, Adrian Broner, Mr. Catchweight, Mr. 147 pounds. Let's not make a big deal about that. The fact that Adrian Broner is down to 145 pounds, the fact that he is back in the ring, he's in pretty good shape. Seems like he's saying all the right things at least. Yes, the weight thing was a little funky. If you don't know the story, Adrian Broner came in. The fight was contracted for 140 pounds with Giovanni Santiago, and then yesterday or 2 days ago, they just ripped that up, and it's now a fight at 147 pounds. Both guys came in at 145, but from my understanding, Santiago was privy to all this news. It wasn't like he was shocked, like we saw last week with Jojo Diaz and Rakhimov. He kind of was in the loop. Both camps were communicating, and they came up with the agreement of 147. So I think that's a side story. It's an easy way to jump on top of Broner. People love to do that, but it's not the main story. The main story is how Broner looks tonight. Over his last 5 fights, Adrian Broner is throwing 36 punches per round. 36! That's 12 a minute, if my math is correct. Not good. Hasn't fought since 2019, January, against Manny Pacquiao, where he didn't let his hands go. His last win is 2017 against Adrian Granados, which was a split decision nonetheless. Now, the thing with Adrian Broner is I'm rooting for the guy. I have told everyone, it's been my MO since I've started doing this show, that I love fun fights. Ryan Garcia versus Manny Pacquiao is a fight that I have been clamoring for because it's fun. Adrian Broner is fun. Boxing needs fun characters. Only if they bring it in the ring. If you're going to go in there and throw 36 punches around, it's going to be hard to defend you. It's going to be hard to want to watch you fight again. So I want to see Adrian Broner come in there and maybe let his hands go. Is it so much to ask for 50 punches around? 55 punches around? A late stoppage would be nice. A stoppage win for Broner, then we can start maybe get the ball rolling a little bit. As long as we get Adrian Broner, Keith Thurman, that's the fight. We all want, right? That's the fight I want. I think a lot of fans want that as well. Thurman, I did an interview with him, and he said that he was a little perturbed that Adrian Broner got a contract before he did to fight. So that fight's brewing. That fight's been brewing for a while. It's a perfect from a marketing standpoint. Adrian Broner versus Keith Thurman. if they could find enough money to put it on Showtime or Fox. Who knows what's going on with Fox? But I mean, even if it was on pay-per-view, I know it's pay-per-view and we don't want to do that, but that fight would be, the build-up would be absurd for a Thurman-Adrian Broner fight. So hopefully we get that. But Giovanni Santiago didn't have a lot of tape on him. In fact, we only could find one fight of his, but he did throw 70 punches around in that fight. So I would be interested to see if Santiago could do that, if he can replicate that, high volume, put some pressure on Broner. Let's see Broner in some uncomfortable situations to see how he adapts and see if he still has it. Only 31 years old. Adrian the Problem Broner. Wow. The guy, I talked about how ESPN and Top Rank have been doing a great job. Showtime and PBC have done a good job promoting this Broner fight, because I saw it everywhere. It's all over Twitter. Not a lot of people are actually talking about it like sports media wise, because a lot of people don't really like Adrian Broner, but he elicits a response. He elicits a reaction, whether you want to tune in to watch him win and prove people wrong, or you're going to tune in to watch him get crushed like he did versus Maidana. That's why you love the sport of boxing, because you can watch a character that you don't like get his ass kicked. That's why we love boxing. Or he could be victorious, and then you're angry, and you're wondering, damn it, why did he win again? Love the sport. It's the best sport in the world. Over another fight on Showtime that I think could be one of the better fights is Otto Valene versus Dominic Brazile in the heavyweight division. Bombs away in this one. I had Valene on the show this week. I did an interview with him. Good-looking heavyweight. Obviously, the Tyson Fury fight is something that's going to be always linked with him, is the fact that, Tyson Fury, he took him to deep waters, had the cut. He landed the most punches on Tyson Fury, 127 punches landed in that fight. Kind of is getting a little tired of all the Fury questions, and I don't blame him, because it's literally every interview he's asked about that. And he brought it up right away. Like, I want to show the world that I'm more than just a guy that, lost to Tyson Fury but gave him a tough fight. He beat Travis Kaufman a few months ago. That was the battle of the COVID. That was the COVID heavyweights, because both of them had COVID. Seems like Valene recovered better. But stylistically, this is a really intriguing fight, because Otto Valene does a lot of things good in the ring. He's got a really good jab. His last fight, he was throwing it like 40 jabs around. He was landing it. He's got really good power numbers. He's not really known as a puncher, but he's got pop. Lands 52% of his power shots. And then the flip side of things, Dominique Brazil, we've seen Brazil, he's 35 years old. This is kind of his last stand. Obviously, we got vaporized by Deontay Wilder. But in that fight, he actually hurt Wilder. Before he got absolutely flattened, he hurt Wilder. So Brazil has some hands on him, and he can let him fly. And I have a feeling he's going to go in there and try to take out Valene before he gets taken out, because his defense is poor. He gets hit the most in the heavyweight divisions, close to 40% power he's getting hit with. So if Valene can find the chin of Brazil, he's probably going to go down. But I think in this fight, it's going to be a decision. I think it's a 10-round fight. I think Valene is going to be in and out with his jab. He's going to control the distance. And I think that fight's going to go the distance. And I like Valene to win that one. And then who knows what can happen with him after this. He's in a good spot. He's not really aligned with the PBC. He's got to deal with Showtime. Maybe we could see him, against some of these other heavyweights that are going at it. Joseph Parker's fighting Junior Fa next week. Usyk and Joyce are going at it. Like I just brought up, Dillian White and Povetkin are fighting on top of a mountain in late March. Did I mention that I love this sport? I do. Also, you got Robert Easter in action against Ryan Martin. Don't know much about this fight. Do like Robert Easter. Does have that stench around him because of his fight with Francis Bartholomew, one of the worst fights in the history of boxing. But I like Easter to come out on top in this one. Just has a little more left in the tank. Ryan Martin hasn't fought in a long time. He fought Josh Taylor and lost pretty convincingly. So we'll see about that one. But I'm pumped. Oscar Valdez and Miguel Berchelt. A fight marinated to perfection. A can't miss fight. Tell your friends. This is a fight where you can actually tell your friends to tune in and watch. It's free. It's on regular ESPN. Everyone has ESPN Plus. So now there's no excuses. So if you're either watching it on ESPN, you're not doing anything yet because we're still in somewhat of a quarantine. Tune in, watch this fight between Oscar Berchelt and and Oscar Berchelt, I just said. Miguel Berchelt and Oscar Valdez. Is this stream? How's this stream going? How's the stream looking? We got any comments? We got comments? What do we got? Where are the comments? I don't even know how this is working because I am not a technology guy. My brother does the technology around here. I do this. I get into the front of a microphone and I talk. But it's going to be a good one tonight. Miguel Berchelt, Oscar Valdez is the can't miss fight of the night. Gabe Flores versus Jason Velez. Elvis Rodriguez versus Luis Alberto Verón. That's ESPN. Showtime. I'm going to have 2 TVs going at the same time. I'll be working CompuBox. I'll be working the top rank card. And then I'm going to go live again afterwards. Post-fight show. Going to have an adult beverage in hand. This is an iced coffee. I drink iced coffee year-round. One of those guys. Getting amped up. Getting ready for a really good night of fights. We're getting into the good part of the boxing schedule. Been a slow start. We had the Ryan Garcia fight January 2nd, and that was nice. But it was kind of like a mirage in a way because that fight happened on January 2nd, and then there was absolutely nothing for like 2-3 weeks. Had one fight here or there, but now we're getting into the meaty part of the boxing schedule. Last week was good. This weekend I think is one of the better fight weekends of the year. Next weekend we're going to see Canelo in action again. Following that, we're getting to March is loaded. March is absolutely loaded. ESPN's not going in March because of March Madness, but DAZN's picking up the slack in March. Of course, Chocolatito and Estrada. Man, that fight is a canvas. That fight is going to get people excited. I mean, that's the fight everyone has circled. This Valdez and Berchelt is get excited for that. 100%. But once Estrada and Chocolatito, that fight week is going to be off the charts. That Saturday night is going to be crazy. I'll probably do more lives and try to get more interactive. I'm going to have to figure out how to get the chat going so I can answer questions. But all right, it's been fun. 22 minutes. That's as much as I got. I got to eat some food. I got to power up, drink my iced coffee, get my fingers ready because it's time. We're here. Berchelt-Valdez over on ESPN. Broner Santiago over on Showtime. Wallin-Breazeale as well on Showtime. Great time to be a fight fan. Let's have some fun. Let's interact. Let's love this sport because it's a fun sport. Adrian Broner's fun. Heavyweights are fun. Mexican warriors are fun. All right. I'm ending the stream. I'll see you guys after the fight. It's going to go live again after the fight's post-fight. Hopefully we can get more interactive. Peace.